right, hello, Madison Techs. Sorry for the delay in the recap video of this. I hope you like it, enjoy it. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's go through. We met February 14th. This is just a recap of that. Again, we talked about communication. You guys have been great. There was a little bit of a frustration, but that seems to be a little bit more on my end, so I apologize for that, but it is important. Okay, Madison, this is a recap to your video on February 14th. All right, we talked a little bit about communication. It's important for me in the office to get a hold of you for various reasons. I'm not saying you have to answer your phone while you're at a stop. I prefer that you don't. But make sure you check it in between each stop and get back to the stuff that you missed. Very rarely am I going to just call you guys to see how things are going. I may do that, but really if I'm calling you guys, it's going to be for a reason. And it could be important enough for your next job or your work or whatever. So it's important that you guys have a way for the office and I to get a hold of you guys. All right, the inventory. This slide's pretty much worthless. Everything's been taken care of already. You guys can go back to inventory as normal. Make sure you are. I know I got a text this morning from Linda, which is great, saying what she took. Make sure you're also writing it on the log as well. And this is the log. Very simple. Linda would have put 2/21/19. Linda, product, advance, and stations. And then I think she said she took 6 packages, so you just put 6 packages, and I'll enter it from there. Quality checks. We talked a little bit about quality checks, and the bait stations. I expect that when I come out next week that the quality checks will go better. Again, you guys are great techs, and we're learning as we go, so nothing to really say on that. The diagram pilot program, hopefully things are going well with this. I haven't really had a chance to look into it, but I will. We're going to talk about it when I'm out in a week. Again, this is you guys putting bait stations on a diagram of the house to help with the said earlier issue of not finding bait stations. This will help with that. Hope things are going well. If you have any questions about this, reach out to me. If you want to remember how to do it, reach out to me as well. But you should know by now. You guys should have been doing it for a week now. So. Talked a little bit about bait stations. We need to find them this time of year. I know in Minnesota we got 31 inches just in February. It's a lot of inches, 3 feet of snow. Sometimes it's hard to find stations, but we need to do the best that we can to find them using our wasp pole. You guys have PVC piping out there. Your feet, just sweep the feet where they should be, where you think they've been. And then go ahead and fill them. If you can't find them, and I get that there's sometimes you can't, then we need to put new ones out. Either where the activity in the note says it is, where you think it is, if you see activity, that kind of stuff. But we need to put more stations out. We can always pick them up in the spring. The reason being is some people aren't going to have us for another 3 months. That means their bait stations go 6 months without being filled. And there could be a lot of vole damage that happens in those 6 months, and mice in and out, and then the customer calls for vole damage, complains, and possibly cancels, and that's not what we want. So if you can't find the bait stations, and you know there are some there, and you'll be able to tell with the notes and the previous stuff, go ahead and put new ones. Again, if you come across ambushes, they need to be anchored. This time of year it may be difficult, but in the springtime, let's go ahead and anchor them and make sure that if they can be anchored, that they are, because we don't need raccoons or dogs or kids taking them away. If you come across an Evo outside, replace it with an ambush unless specifically stated in the notes. Evo's interior, ambush exterior. We should all know this. Some customers don't want the Evos or ambush outside because they're gaudy and they're big. That's fine if it's at the request of the customer. Just make sure that you flag a note for the office so they can put that as a service note. Evo's only outside, and you put really good notes on where they are, and again, that diagram program. Make sure that we know that it's EVOs. Again, base station is broken. Just go ahead and replace it. Talked about customers' homes, being courteous, taking your shoes off whenever possible. Don't walk through brushes, gardens unless needed. If you do, watch your step. I told the story about the lady that canceled on the spot when I stepped on one of her flowers, and we were at her initial. Extreme case, but again, I wasn't watching my step. I was just trying to get the job done, and unfortunately, it ended the way that it did. If you enter a room, make sure you leave it the way you entered it, i.e. lights on or off, door closed, etc. And then always shut a gate. Whether it's open or closed when you get there, always shut it. If it's open when you get there and you can't shut it, just leave a note, quick note, notice you're attempted to close your gate, it could not do it, treated the exterior, blah, blah, blah. If it's closed when you get there, you open it and you can't close it for whatever reason, call the office, make sure they're aware of it, and make sure that they get a hold of the customer prior to you leaving. I'm not going to make you sit there for 2 hours and wait for the customer to get home, but I might make you sit there for 20 minutes until we get a hold of them so they can be informed that, hey, this gate's open, we can't get it closed, and then we'll go from there. If there's any sort of damages to the gate, that's something we'll take care of on our end. But just inform us of it and we can move forward. Again, we talked about active ingredients. Bromodoline is in a lot of rodenticides, easy blocks, and contracts, both soft and blocks that we use. It's an anticoagulant that prevents the body from clotting by not allowing it to produce vitamin K. It's different than the other anticoagulant that prevents the body from producing vitamin K. Once the vitamin K has been completely used, the rodent will bleed out. And again, we use it in easy blocks. And then deltamethrin is another big one that we use. It's in suspend polysone. Delta dust, it's a pyrethroid, which we'll get into next time. We're there, the difference between pyrethroid and pyrethrin I'll talk about next week, or February 28th or 6th or something like that. It disrupts the normal nervous system on the function of insects. Essentially, it doesn't allow their neurotransmitters to fire. One of the reasons why it doesn't affect us as much is because we have higher body temperatures and larger bodies. So same thing with cats and dogs and other pets and children. Again, I wouldn't bathe in it. I definitely wouldn't drink it or eat it or use it as powdered sugar. But definitely not, if you get some on you can go ahead and just whoop, you're good to go. Again, and then when it comes to pets and stuff for customers, as long as it's dry and we use the dust in areas where, in the cracks and crevices, then they're going to be fine. Types of application. This is something that could potentially ask from the Department of Ag. There are more than just these 5, but these are the 5 majors. There's hand placement. That's going to be your bait stations, your ant traps, things like that. Crack and crevice is what you're doing with the dust right now. Your foundation treatment is going to be what you do in the summertime with Suspend Polysone and Termidor. Now their foundation treatments are different, so make sure you read the label to figure out what the foundation treatment is for that specific product. We don't want to do the Termidor foundation treatment with Suspend Polysone because we won't get as much coverage, and we don't want to do the Suspend Polysone foundation treatment for Termidor because we'll be using it improperly and going against the label of the law. So spot treatment is going to be just that. You're treating an area for a specific pest. It's generally a 1 foot square area or less, and a broadcast treatment will be like your granular. Asian beetles and box elders, I'm going to be silent during this portion, except for when it comes to the images, and then just ask if you have any questions. This is a box elder bug. This is a ladybug. I want you to take a note at the protonum, and I'll show you why we need to look at that here in a minute. Japanese beetle. And this is an Asian lady beetle. I had you take a look at the protonum of the ladybug where it was all black. This is the protonum of your Asian lady beetle. And you can see the arrow here. You have this M or W, depending on how you look at it. That's what distinguishes Asian lady beetle from a ladybug, at least from something that you can see from the naked eye. So if it's got that M or W, which most of them are gonna, because we deal with a lot of Asian lady beetles, that's gonna be an Asian lady beetle. If it doesn't, if it's solid black, that's gonna be a ladybug. Okay, so I asked for your homework, and I want that by February 20th. I'm going to send out an email. I'm going to also send out a text to the 4 of you guys. Again, let me know what you guys want, and we'll work on that. So hopefully you guys have been thinking about that for a week, and I look forward to hearing what you guys want to know more about, so I can get on that. I know, Linda, you had talked about product, so I'm working... going to work with Matt over here, our senior tech that deals with our product, and we're going to see if we can't figure out a way to put something online for you guys about each product that we have. So it's something you can just go quick and reference. But we're going to work on that. In the meantime, when I meet with you guys next week, I'll grab a couple products that you guys might not know about, and I'll talk about them and let you know, so we can at least start that. So yeah, thanks for everything, and I'll see you guys next week, which will be the last week of February.